All right, let's break this down properly and really dig into why Senator John Kennedy reading out President Biden's nominee's past record became one of those jaw-dropping moments that left the room silent and the internet buzzing. This wasn't just another sleepy Senate confirmation hearing. This was one of those moments where the script flipped, the nominee's carefully polished resume started to crumble, and everyone watching realized something wasn't adding up. So let's talk about what happened, why it mattered, and why moments like this have become political dynamite in today's America. Setting the scene, a confirmation hearing that took a sharp turn on paper. This was supposed to be routine. A Biden administration nominee sits before the Senate, ready to be questioned. The usual talking points are expected: qualifications, commitment to public service, respect for the Constitution, and lots of carefully worded, lawyer-approved answers. Enter Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana. Now, Kennedy has built a reputation for this exact kind of moment. He has a folksy Southern drawl, but don't be fooled by the charm. When he starts calmly reading from documents, you can almost feel the tension rising, because history tells us it's about to expose something uncomfortable. And that's exactly what happened here. What made this moment so powerful wasn't yelling or grandstanding. Kennedy didn't raise his voice. He didn't insult the nominee. He didn't interrupt constantly. Instead, he did something far more devastating. He read the nominee's own past statements, writings, and actions back to them, word for word. No spin, no exaggeration, just the record. And as each quote landed, you could feel the room shift. This wasn't a partisan attack based on ideology alone. This was about credibility. The record that stunned the room as Kennedy laid it out. A clear pattern began to emerge, one that sharply contrasted with how the nominee had been presented to the public. Among the issues raised were past statements that directly conflicted with the nominee's current testimony, policy positions that appeared extreme or outside the mainstream, comments suggesting bias or ideological rigidity, professional conduct that raised questions about judgment. Each point on its own might have been brushed off, but taken together, it painted a picture that was hard to ignore. And here's the key part. Kennedy wasn't interpreting the record. He was simply reading it. That's why it hit so hard. The nominee's response, careful, but cornered as Kennedy went on, the nominee's responses became noticeably more cautious. There were a lot of phrases like, "That was taken out of context. I've evolved since then. Those comments don't reflect my current views." Now, to be fair, people can change. Growth is real. But the problem here was a lack of clarity. Kennedy kept asking variations of the same question. Do you still believe this? Yes or no? And the nominee struggled to give a straight answer. That hesitation spoke volumes. Why this moment resonated so strongly, this exchange blew up for a few key reasons. Americans are tired of political double talk across the political spectrum. Voters are frustrated. They are tired of nominees who say one thing in the past and another thing under oath, without ever fully owning either position. Kennedy tapped directly into that frustration. He wasn't saying, "You're unqualified." He was saying, "Your own words don't match your story." That's powerful. This moment also raised uncomfortable questions for the Biden administration. How does someone with such a controversial paper trail make it this far in the nomination process? Either the vetting was sloppy, or the administration assumed the Senate wouldn't push back. Neither explanation inspires confidence. Let's be honest, part of why this went viral is John Kennedy himself. He has a way of sounding like he's just asking simple, common-sense questions, even when he's dismantling someone's credibility in real time. That combination of politeness and precision is lethal in hearings. Bigger picture, what this says about Biden's nominees, this wasn't an isolated incident. Over the past few years, multiple Biden nominees have faced tough scrutiny over past tweets, academic writings, advocacy work, public statements that clash with moderation promises. Critics argue this shows a pattern. Nominees are often selected to satisfy ideological bases first, with Senate confirmation treated as a formality. Kennedy's questioning blew that assumption apart. The silence in the room said everything. One of the most telling parts of the exchange wasn't what was said, it was what wasn't. No one rushed in to defend the nominee. No one interrupted Kennedy. No one laughed it off. That silence spoke volumes. In Washington, silence usually means damage control mode. Public reaction. Why this clip took off online once the footage hit social media, reactions poured in. Supporters of Kennedy praise him for doing his job, holding nominees accountable, asking the questions voters care about. Critics of the nominee saw it as confirmation of long-held suspicions. Even some moderates admitted the exchange was uncomfortable to watch, not because Kennedy was rude, but because the answers were weak. This is why confirmation hearings still matter. Some people dismiss Senate hearings as political theater. Moments like this prove they are still important. These hearings aren't just about resumes. They're about judgment, integrity, consistency, honesty under pressure. Kennedy didn't attack the nominee personally. He tested whether their story held up under scrutiny. And in this case, it didn't. Here's where things get really interesting. This exchange didn't just reflect badly on the nominee. It raised questions about the entire Biden nomination pipeline. People started asking, who is vetting these nominees? Are red flags being ignored? Or is ideological alignment being prioritized over confirmability? Because let's be honest, none of this record was hidden. This wasn't some ancient college essay dug up from 30 years ago. This stuff was known, which means someone looked at it and said, we'll deal with it later. Later turned out to be Senator Kennedy reading it out loud on national television. One of the most telling moments wasn't Kennedy speaking. It was everyone else not speaking. Normally, when a nominee is under pressure, allies jump in. Senators interrupt. Time runs out conveniently. None of that happened here. No matter what happens next, confirmation or not, this moment will stick. Clips like this don't disappear. They get replayed. They get cited. They become part of the nominee's permanent public record. And for the Biden administration, it's another reminder that past words matter, especially when the Senate is listening closely. In a political climate where trust is already fragile, moments like these hit harder than ever. And Senator John Kennedy, with nothing more than a stack of papers and a calm voice, reminded everyone watching that the record always tells a story. You just have to read it out loud. Let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you think or what you want to see next.